This video is sponsored by Surfshark. Disney ripoffs. They'll continue to be made till the end of time for every Disney franchise just because they're so massive. And sometimes these ripoffs are even massive themselves. Sometimes they're even made by Disney themselves. Like just recently, Disney made a knockoff of their own incredible film, Mulan. They made it into a live action ripoff. I honestly don't know how no one is noticing this. It's so funny, it's so weird. These are like the same movie, dude. Disney just made the same movie twice, but did the second time worse. Honestly, this movie is worse than a genuine knockoff. It's worse than Homeward or anything made by one dude over the weekend to make $5. This is worse. This is so much worse because it's a multi-million-dollar garbage fire. There isn't some insane weirdness emanating that's laughable like a normal ripoff. No, it's just a bland, inferior version that just seems like it'll continue to be the case with all the live action movies for a while. Yeah, you start with one really good one, then you make 1,000 terrible ones. Honestly, the fact that they actually considered releasing this bootleg Mulan in theaters is hilarious. I can imagine myself being in the theater, bored out of my mind. So I'm honestly glad this came out at home instead, even though the way it was released is really scummy. Oh, I just can't rent it outright. I need to have a Disney Plus subscription. Oh yeah, that's totally normal. But even though I got to watch this in the comfort of my own home, I couldn't stand it. I wanted to get this video out sooner, but this movie is such a bore to get through. I genuinely fell asleep watching it the first time, and that's not easy for me, man. This live action knockoff garbage is worse than any of the other live action movies. This one doesn't change anything from the original movie to make it better in real life form. No, it only weakens it, and it's very painful. At least when I watched Aladdin, I was genuinely entertained at times. It actually had small parts that were fun. At least when I watched Lion King, the CGI was interesting as an experiment for a moment, and at least the music kept me from passing out from the boredom. But this feels like a fan recreation. Actually, no, I'm sorry about that. Fans could actually recreate this so much better in live action form. This is like just a greatest hits moments of Mulan without the greatest hits. It's like a stripped down recap of the original movie without the music or any weight the original story had. I mean, I honestly don't know what I expected from the director of Zookeeper's Wife, directing this serious war movie. Actually, Zookeeper's Wife might be better than Mulan. I'm not gonna lie. There's just so much wrong here, storytelling wise, editing wise, visual wise. None of the characters feel like they did in the original, but they didn't change them to make them better and feel like real people. They're all just hollow shells that spout a couple lines resembling the story of the originals. None of them feel like a character. This entire movie feels like a rehearsal for the actual movie. It feels like they're all practicing. Where's the actual movie? In a weird, very weird way, this movie automatically assumes that you've seen the animated one, because if you haven't seen the animated one, you will be insanely confused at what is happening. The movie does the absolute bare minimum to flesh anything out, stay on anything for a second at least, and just feel like an actual story. There's no reason to watch this, literally none. This movie omits the comical characters of the original, like the three best friends, or Mushu, or the cricket, or the slightly mystical elements, because it wanted to have a more serious, dark tone, like a big war action movie. It wants to be serious. That's why it can't have a talking dragon or a funny cricket, but no, it can have a random phoenix flying around everywhere and a literal shapeshifter, someone with straight up superpowers, like actual superpowers. Also, Mulan has superpowers because in this movie, Mulan uses her chi. I'm not even kidding. We're at a point in this movie when she was struggling to keep up with every soldier. She was just like, wait, I can use my chi. That's not something that was in the original, but is that a good change? Is it a good change in any way? Oh no. She literally just gains the ability throughout this movie to be amazing at fighting and everything. Literally all she has to do is say she's gonna do it, and all of a sudden, she's a god, an actual combat god. Mulan can carry buckets, y'all. She's powerful, she's insane. This is great movie making. You know, all of the actual inspiring lessons from the first, from the original? No, let's just cut all that out. The story choices in this movie are just absolutely confusing. Why would anyone write a movie like this is beyond me. The main actress isn't good as Mulan, and that's literally the only character in this movie that made an impression in the slightest way. So what does that have to say? The villain is the same, but not the same. He has a different name, but same motives, I guess, kinda. Looks the same, but he's dumber. Oh yeah, the insanely terrifying design of the original villain. No, we're just gonna make it a scarred, angry dude who barely does anything in this movie. The villain does jack all. The shapeshifter does jack all, except fight Mulan once. But in the end of the movie, the first time Mulan stands off with the big villain, it's over in 10 seconds. There isn't a fight, there's nothing. It's just a hi. Bye. So the way this movie starts is that you have Mulan as a kid. For some reason, it's not in the original, but also it's not a change that enhances the story or characters in any way. It doesn't add anything. Like I said, most of these changes weaken everything. Basically, Kid Mulan has chi powers from the start, which wow, that's totally gonna have me interested in the character's journey to become stronger if they're already strong from the start, but then, they just end up forgetting that they're strong. Oh, but then they remembered that they're strong, and that's the whole journey. Wow. But yeah, then she grows up. She has to meet the matchmaker today, same stuff as the original, but in the original, we had a cricket friend who was Mulan's friend, and that kind of messes everything up and causes conflict, and the old lady matchmaker freaks out and gets mad. Part of the reason for Mulan to run away, with slight motivation for her character. Here, the movie omits those original animal characters like I said, so instead of Mulan's friend being the cause, something directly relating to Mulan, which would be a proper reason of upset for the old lady, here it's just a random spider completely unrelated to Mulan. Here it's a spider that shows up and the old lady freaks out but blames Mulan for no reason, and it makes no sense. The old lady sees the spider, flips the table, breaking the tea, which is the main thing she's mad about, but yet she blames Mulan like it's her fault, but it has nothing to do with her. Unlike the original movie where she flips out because Mulan made an accident of bringing her cricket friend along to this very important thing. I'm mentioning all this because the implications for her character are wildly different in this way. It's just a small thing that adds up throughout the entire movie in different ways over and over and over again. The cricket and the spider change is consistent in different ways, but in every single way, it hurts character motivation and stops the story from flowing in any way comprehensible. It just keeps adding up, adding up, adding up. So yeah, we then see the main villain in the shapeshifter. The shapeshifter is a weird way of making a villain somewhat relatable to Mulan in the weirdest way. Also, the camera here is oh, just look at this. Look at this, man. It's so bad. Why is it rotating like this? What is it conveying? What is this camera conveying to me, dude? It hurts my eyes, my soul. Usually a camera conveys to the audience the feeling of certain scenes. Like for an action scene, it should be able to, maybe I should be able to see it, don't you think? But the camera here does whatever it wants, man. It's going everywhere. It doesn't care. Soon, Mulan's dad volunteers to join the war because there's no sons in his family, but you know the story of Mulan. She runs away and pretends to be the boy, to be the war boy. In war camp, war boy Mulan joins the army. Here we have shenanigans, like there's a dude named Cricket. Yeah, that's a subtle nod. I know, yeah, I know. There's also the guy who obviously crushes on Mulan like Li Shang in the original, but here it's a dude split into two people because he's not the commander in this one, he's just hot soldier guy. Commander is hot Ip Man guy. So here's where we get boring training, insanely boring training. This isn't even because there's no music or anything. I would be fine without the music absence in this movie, but instead it's just a whack montage that barely shows any hardship of actually having to be better. And like I said before, Mulan just bees better. She just bees better by remembering that she has natural chi strength. How inspiring. Like in the original, I think her friends got better by watching her and being like, wow, if we just push ourselves, maybe we can be better. But no, here, only she can be better, dude. And then there's a big fight where the main villain guy is there and shows the shapeshifter, and Mulan gets knocked out, which creates a whole massive change for her character, where she decides not to hide as War Boy anymore. She is now War Mulan. By the way, this is an hour into the movie, but yet it doesn't feel like any character depth has happened to reach this whatsoever. This is not earned. In very few ways did it feel like something something that needed to happen or something that will happen. No. Mulan in this movie is probably the most boring part about this movie, and yet she's also the one that made the only impression on me, and that's the saddest thing to say. She's the name of the movie, and she's the worst part. I don't know if it's the actress, her writing, or both. It's probably both. But after his transformation, Mulan is now a combat war god too, and takes out most of the enemy very easily. Unlike how in the original, she has her friends help her and back her up, but she also is super smart, but also it's a lot more tense because she struggles on top of it. She struggles. Relatable. You know, that's relatable as a character. But no, here just Mulan just does it. No struggle or build up. She just knows exactly what to do instantly. That's it. So the army is like, hey, you're not supposed to be in the army. And Mulan is like, so? And she joins them officially, and they fight the final battle. And like I mentioned, main villain gets axed instantly. Also, Shapeshifter takes an arrow from Mulan before the battle even begins. It's really weird timing. And that's it for Mulan. There really isn't much more to talk about. This has to be the most rushed, broken, awful live action adaptation from Disney so far. The changes here are not welcome ones. They don't service the story. There's not even any reason for changes to be here. It would not be better with music or the original characters. This movie actually would have benefited by just being a shot-for-shot remake. Isn't that weird to say? It feels like this movie is in beta mode. Like the official release isn't out yet. Maybe it needs a patch to fix the bugs, I don't know. Even Kingdom Hearts 2 adapted the story of Mulan better than Mulan did, and that's hilarious. This is just a sad movie to exist. There is absolutely no part of it that works, or is redeeming, or interesting, or anything. It's just so lazy. Adding the music would not have fixed it. Adding Mushu would not have fixed it. It's the cricket thing. If they were somehow added back, I can bet they wouldn't be used properly for the story anyways, because there's nothing here that makes a story flow, that makes a story comprehensible, and that's sad to think about. Mulan, more like I actually rather watch Aladdin, genuinely. Just think about that. Thank you to Surfshark for sponsoring this video. Surfshark is the easy-to-use, user-friendly VPN that helps you protect your internet, privacy, and security. Surfshark lets you use your VPN on unlimited devices simultaneously to protect as many as you'd like at once. With Surfshark, you can access parts of the internet globe you wouldn't normally be able to with servers in countries everywhere. Personally, I like to use it for the Netflix that's in Japan, because while the United States Netflix has anime, the Netflix from Japan has a lot more selection, and that's a really good thing. And you can start protecting your internet and enjoying parts of the globe you couldn't normally by going to surfshark.deals/24framesnick and using code 24framesnick to get 83% off a 2-year plan and 3 extra months free. Start protecting your internet privacy today and enjoying some of that Netflix from Japan just by going to surfshark.deals/24framesnick and using code 24framesnick.